I'm Kat.
I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy, the podcast where two teachers unwind, sip wine, and each teach a lesson we can't teach at school. What are we drinking, Hayley?
I'm drinking a truly wild berry hard seltzer, and you're drinking a very funny, interesting beer.
Yeah, I am drinking, it's called Cave Hefe. And for the listeners at home who can't see it spelled out, it's like when Donald Trump tweeted Kaffefe, but it's Cave Hefe because it's a Hefeweizen from a local brewery here, Memphis Made, my favorite local brewery. But it has like, I don't know, you've had Hefeweizens, right?
Yeah.
It's like a weedy light beer, but this one has a coconut in it. They normally are like, they have citrus or banana notes. So this is like kind of weird.
They just wanted it for the name. That's the only reason they made it a Hefeweizen.
Well, it makes sense it's a Hefeweizen. I don't know why it's coconut. But it's like, it's not bad, but it definitely tastes like coconut. Do you want to try it?
Yeah, let me try it.
Like, I'm into it. It's also kind of sour. And like, you know how you put lemon in Hefeweizen? Like, maybe that's why it's kind of sour. Like, you don't even have to put lemon in it. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I like it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I like it too. And it is what I expected. Like, it does taste like coconut. I just don't know how to feel about it. I think I like it.
It has a nice aftertaste. I feel like I'm wafting it into my nasal cavity now and I'm breathing after drinking it.
Gross.
Yeah, well, your girl's got sinus problems.
I guess she does. But yeah, it's decent. I went to the store today with the goal of buying an Oktoberfest beer because it's officially spooky season. And then I saw this. What I actually really wanted was a pumpkin flavored beer. But the only pumpkin thing they had was like a Sam Adams or something like generic. And I was like, I don't really want that.
Yeah, just drive through Dunkin', get their pumpkin flavored thing and just pour some vodka in it.
Oh my God. You know, I got the pumpkin cold brew from Dunkin' the other day.
Yeah.
We should get that and put rum in it. That would be fucking good.
Let's do it. We can do it this Friday.
Ooh, we can, because this Friday we are having a happy hour on Patreon. It's going to be this Friday. It's going to be actually the day after this episode comes out. So September 10th at 8 p.m. Central.
Yeah, we know y'all procrastinate anyway, so you're welcome for the last minute reminder. We'll see you all there.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. We can just like hang out. There'll be like some kind of a Zoom link on Patreon so we can all talk and see each other's faces. And I thought it might be fun. We have this game called what's it called? It's not Never How I Ever Have I Ever.
How well do you know me?
How well do you know me? We could pull cards from that and like we played that the other night and I had to share some really embarrassing things about myself. So we can all get to know each other really well.
You kept getting the most like
raunchy cards. And we were playing with our friends like Clint and Kelly, who are perfect angels. And then here I am, just like the swamp monster, telling everyone about the most disgusting things I've ever done. So
all my stuff was like, have you ever been to a Justin Bieber concert?
Yeah, mine. I'm not even going to repeat the ones that mine were, but we'll have fun on Friday together, not on the air, just with our inner circle of Patreon people.
Right. And you can pay to get in the inner circle. Just head on over to Patreon.
Yeah, it costs money to be friends with us, but
it does. We're pricey.
Yeah, the money goes toward the show. So you can go to Patreon. There's a link in the show notes in our link tree, or just go to patreon.com/nightclassy. You can get in for as low as $1 a month and join us in our cocktail hour.
I'm so freaking pumped. And we can have our little fall drinks, and y'all can bring your fall drinks if you drink. If you like that kind of thing.
I'm going to fucking need that Dunkin' Donuts coffee for this because 8 p.m. is late for me these days.
I know you're saying you've been going to bed at 9 o'clock on the weekends.
It's been a 3-day weekend. Every night this weekend, Alec and I have gone to bed at 9 and woken up at 6. Just like on purpose.
Boomers.
I know, we are. But we have good reason because we have to wake up early to feed our baby squirrel.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Alvin.
Alvin, my students named him Alvin. I wish I could remember the other things they were suggesting because there were some like fucking crazy ones. But yeah, we found a baby squirrel. He had, because there's those storms down south.
Yeah.
And so we had like a bad storm on, not like a bad storm in comparison to the people who are really getting hit hard, but we got like some of the residual from that storm, and it was really windy on Monday night. And so a little baby squirrel fell out of the tree.
We've just established the house as an animal zone at this point. There are more animals in that house than there will ever be humans. Like,
oh, by far.
The universe just knows. They're like, okay, we've already planned this. A baby squirrel has to fall out of a tree in this area of town. Whose yard should it fall in?
Did Alec tell you about the baby bird?
Wait, I think so. Yeah, you like it.
Yeah, you know how I sent you a picture of the baby bird I caught?
Yeah.
When I let it go, and then when I walked back by on the night walk with Georgia, it was just right in the same spot, dead.
Because he knew he couldn't bring another animal into the house because he had already brought in a baby squirrel that day. So he let the bird stay out, and it unfortunately died.
That was the bad decision. If anything, the squirrel would have felt more at home with a bird in your closet.
Oh my God. Imagine if we raised a baby bird and a baby squirrel next to each other.
If you just kept it secret from Clint and Kelly.
We would have to if we wanted to remain roommates.
Friends.
Friends, yeah.
Also, before we get a bunch of emails, can we acknowledge that we tried to let the mama squirrel find the baby?
Yeah, as soon as Alec found it, I mean, I was at work, but he called a wildlife rescue. They gave us instructions to leave it outside all day, which is what we did. But
with a Bluetooth speaker blasting crying noises.
Yeah, crying baby squirrel noises to attract the mom. And all day went by and she hadn't come yet. So it was like, according to the wildlife rescue, it was safe to assume that she wasn't coming back. And that's when we brought it into the house. And we have been feeding it puppy formula mixed with whipping cream and Pedialyte as per instructions. And we've been taking very good care of it. It's still alive. And it's going to a experienced rehabber on tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Tuesday. So that'll be really sad. I'm really going to miss him.
Yeah, that will be sad. But also, yeah, we did not ask or want to have the squirrel in the house.
No, we didn't like climb a tree up to a squirrel nest
steal
and
it,
steal
fight
a
the
baby.
Squirrel mom.
Yeah.
I just touched it for the first time today. I wasn't comfortable touching it before, but now I was like, well, if they've touched it, I can touch it.
Now it's like
touch
domestic.
Yeah, it's domesticated.
He's so fucking cute. His face looks like a little puppy.
It does, and his eyes aren't even open yet.
No.
He's a little baby.
But he has fur. He's so cute, you guys. If you're not on Instagram, you missed out. We posted a lot of videos on our story. But he's really fucking cute. And that's been my life Alex he's been the main squirrel caretaker because I feel like if you're the person who brings a squirrel into the house, that's the person who takes care of it.
Yeah. I mean, Alec, you have big mom energy anyway. So
yeah, I've got some kind of instinct that's just like, gotta protect.
Yeah. I mean, you turned 30 and you were like,
for real.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's time to nurse.
Yeah. That's why we also have a stray dog living in our house.
She's not a stray anymore.
I guess not. Yeah.
She's a stray at home dog.
Stray at home dog.
But yeah, I mean, I guess again, I'd rather have a baby squirrel than a human baby. So it's
we all
being
make
kept
choices.
in our house. But it is awfully cute, and I have been feeding it. He's super, super, super fucking cute.
Can we pull down this blind? I'm getting sunburnt.
I've been getting sunburnt lately because I've been coaching soccer and like unexpectedly because we're not allowed to go outside because it's so hot. But then this week, because of the storms, it's been cool enough to go outside. And by cool enough, I mean it was like 86 degrees instead of 102. And it's been like sunny. And I like didn't bring sunscreen to school because I didn't expect to go outside. And then we're just outside and it's really hot. And I'm also exhausted because I don't like standing in the sun for 2 hours after a busy day of work, but
sounds awful.
It's
You're
all
not
right.
gonna need your fake tan anymore.
No.
And just remember, it's like the temperature, at least here in Memphis, is like the golden rule of speeding. 9, you're fine. 10, you're mine. So it's like 90 and under. Those kids are going outside for recess. They're having soccer practice. We do not care.
We do not care. But it's been fun. Like it's a brand new, very tiny school. Never had girls soccer before. And so I didn't get enough of a turnout to have a team. So I had to drop out of the league because I think I only had like 11 girls. But I was like, well, like I feel bad for them. Like they all wanted to play. So I've continued having practices just for fun. So we just get to like screw around and play games. And it's been really fun. But like I'm definitely exhausted. So I'm sorry if we've been falling behind on some of our tasks. We're releasing 2 Patreon episodes this month. They're going to be really fun. Can we tell them what we're doing with Nolan?
Yeah, we definitely should.
We are going to play Dungeons and Dragons. We're having a dungeon master / comedian on, and I just developed my character today. I'm so excited.
I know. I keep falling behind. I keep meaning to develop my character, but seeing your description today, I was like, oh my God, I need to do that.
I based my character off my alter ego, Claudia Severa, and I was thinking about Holly Sancha. I feel like Holly Sancha would make like a good like forest elf, and she could have like holly in her hair and be like almost like winter themed. That's just my idea.
Yeah.
It's your character to do what you want with. I was giving it thought.
Yeah, I was giving it thought too. I was like, obviously we're gonna do our alter egos.
Yeah.
At least we were mind melded. Obviously, it had to be Holly Sancha.
Yeah,
Alec, I don't know if you're doing Ted Turbo.
Ted Sugar Bear Turbo.
Yeah, you have to. He could be like a gross swamp monster.
Excuse you.
A
No,
troll.
just a wet blanket.
But yeah, I think I might save Holly's description for Patreon, but I worked hard on it. I think it's pretty good.
Holly's? You mean
Or
Claudia's?
Claudia, yeah, sorry. I'm like stealing yours now. I'm like, here's my ideas, now do it. And I'm also taking it.
You must do it. That's so your Claudia Severe site is coming out.
It is. In my description, I wrote, and she's a huge bitch, and she is. I'm going to fully embrace it.
That was my favorite line. You're just going to want to play Dungeons and Dragons all the time so you can be your true self.
I know. I'm so I've always wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, but I've never been invited to. And so this is just the perfect opportunity. I'm so excited.
Me too. Also, my computer is at 69%.
Oh,
so I felt like
nice.
I should share that with everyone.
That is exciting.
Thank you.
Mine's at 75. Should I unplug it so that it can get down?
Yeah,
okay,
we need to 60. Okay,
we need to 69 together.
Mine's at 70 now. Yeah, at the same time on the same table.
Right, but separately. We're gonna 69 with our computers on the same table, separately together.
Segregation is only good for 69ing with computers, everyone.
Yeah, I don't do that with anyone else but my computer.
Wow, feels special.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Never 69 computer style with anyone else.
All right. Well, do you have anything?
No, let's get into it.
Okay, let's get. We got to finish this early so we can get home and watch Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh my gosh, you used the abbreviation BIP, and I sat there for 2 minutes
in text
trying to understand. What was happening.
BIP. I'm like a very dedicated member of the Bachelor subreddit. I think it's I don't think it's one of the two, Bachelor or Bachelor Nation, whatever like the cooler one is. I'm part of that.
Wow.
The other one is like very conservative and like loves Chris Harrison. So I don't want people to get the wrong idea about me. I'm part of like the good one, but they're always referring to the Bachelor in Paradise as VIP, and I don't know. I just assumed everyone knew. So I'm sorry. I confused
We're busy people.
Yeah, we are. I don't have time to type out Bachelor in Paradise.
You're too busy getting sunburnt and going to bed at 8 p.m.
Yeah, I have a lot on my plate right now, you guys. Between going to bed at 8 p.m. and standing outside getting sunburnt.
Oh my
and feeding a baby squirrel.
Yeah,
anyway.
You have a lot on your hands.
I do. The breathalyzer, the batteries died today. We're refilling them, but as today
we're refilling them.
Not today.
Be in stock soon.
Eventually. But as of today, you're going first.
I am going first. Okay. So I had a whole different lesson planned for today, but there's a ton of research I need to do. So this one I did do. I try not to do them and procrastinate, but I was in Georgia this weekend visiting my grandpa. If you pray, please send prayers. If you send positive vibes, please send those. He has had struggle with lung cancer. So we got to go see him, and that was amazing. But for some reason, he stays up super late, him and his wife do, and then they sleep in. So I was up until like 11 o'clock last night, which was amazing, getting to have a conversation with my grandpa and my family. But I was so tired.
I cannot even fathom staying up till 11 p.m.
And we were in the sun all day. Literally, the dress I'm wearing, I told you I bought it because I was sweating my ass off at the beach. I had to change.
And she's been wearing it for 72 hours straight.
I have. I will never forget that trip. This dress is never coming off.
You just like super glue it to your body.
Ew. Okay, well, anyway, these notes, I guess just bear with me. There's good information, but again, I did not have the full prep time. It was
Don't tell anyone.
Last night.
Don't tell them. They'll never know.
You'll never know. Okay. Well, let's just get into it then. Okay. We're going to learn about the Capuchin Monastery in Palermo, Italy. So in the late 1500s, like right at the turn of the century, this cemetery was being overseen by the Capuchin monks, and it was just monks and friars who went into the cemetery. But it became full. And instead of expanding it, they were like, hey, SpongeBob, what's better than a normal cemetery? And the other monk was like, I don't know, an excavated crypt below the cemetery?
Ooh.
And they're like, hell yeah. So that's what they did. And the first member was Brother Silvestro of Gubbio. Best name ever. That should be somebody.
Brother Silvestro of Gubbio.
Yeah. That'll be Tommy's alter ego.
Yeah. That could be his mustache's alter ego.
Is Tommy going to play D&D with us?
Yeah,
Has he made his character?
I don't think so.
Okay,
we'll
make
have
him
to
do it.
shame him into doing it.
You guys can do it during Bachelor in Paradise tonight.
That's my plan. Yeah. So Brother Silvestro of Gubbio dies, and he's the first one to go into the crypt. And they did that so that they could visit him and pray with him on a regular basis. And to this day, he's the first body that you see when you walk into the catacombs to this day.
So they just dug a hole under the cemetery. Did it like... Can you just walk through the hole and see people's bones that were like already buried there when they dug that hole, or did they dig like deep enough so it's under the coffins?
Well, you can see bones, but it's not of those who were buried.
Okay, so it's people they put in there since.
Yeah.
Okay.
They mummified them.
Oh.
There are a bunch of bodies down there. None of them are in like tombs or caskets. Well, there are some who are tucked away on shelves, but initially these catacombs were made for the monks only. And for hundreds of years, they did that until they were like, I just need a little bit of spice in our life and death. And they decided to open up to the public, but that was only if you could pay to, put the body of the deceased in there and have its upkeep. So there are specific types of people who would go into specific rooms. For example, there's one room for religious figures, one room for professionals like doctors, a room for men, women, virgins, and infants. And PSA, virginity is a hoax.
But not
nothing
death,
to
though.
lose. It's life or death. You come, you die an unmarried virgin, then you're going straight back to life. Suffer that hell.
Did they distinguish between children who were like presumably virgins and like adults who were virgins?
Yes, they did. Presumably
Imagine
all
being
children.
put in like the 40-year-old virgin crypt.
Well, families would fight to be like, my daughter is a virgin. Because if she's unmarried, then, who knows truly either way.
Right.
And does it really matter?
No, but like it does to some people.
At that time, at that time and to some people, it really mattered. So the Chapel of Virgins is full of girls whose families declared them to be virgins. And they're all displayed in white dresses under an inscription reading, quote, "We follow the Lamb wherever he goes. We are virgins."
Do you know that SNL skit where he's like, I'm a little guy. I got little hands, little feet. I'm a little guy. I'm a virgin. I'm a virgin. I never had sex. I wear a white dress. I'm a virgin. I'm a virgin.
We follow the neon lights wherever they go. We are alcoholics.
No, stop making alcoholics jokes.
That was one.
But you make them, you call us alcoholics all the time. And
I'm dealing with family trauma.
Apparently so.
Thou dost
I'm
protest
dealing with-
too much.
I'm dealing with the trauma of getting fired for Never mind.
Okay. We are not alcoholics. So we drink once a week. And it's probably not even a good thing to joke about that. So
No.
you're right. You're completely
Yeah,
right.
Haley.
What are we
one.
then? If
Just
not
kidding, just
alcoholics, then what?
You're right. It probably is not good.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. Okay, that was
We're sorry, you guys.
final one.
Like,
Yeah,
genuinely,
it is no
it's
joke.
not funny.
Yeah, it's not. Unfortunately, humor is a coping mechanism
It
for
is.
me. I just
Yeah.
got done hearing all about my grandfather's struggles and obstacles that he's overcome with alcoholism and a lot of other people in my family. So
Yeah,
I think it's
same.
top of mind.
Runs in the fam.
The only thing running in my fam is alcoholism and diabetes. Anyway.
And depression. and
depre-
cancer.
And anxiety.
Bingo.
High blood pressure.
Oh, we got high blood pressure too.
Oh my
Are
God.
we related?
We need to do a little 23andMe shit or something.
Yeah, we do. I've been thinking about 23andMe lately.
I have too.
I mean, like, I haven't done it yet because I'm white. Like, I don't really see the point, but
Yeah.
it might be interesting.
My brother and I were talking about that this weekend, and he's like, I'm just afraid that I'm going to find out some shit I don't want to know.
Yeah, my mom won't do it because she's afraid she'll find shit out she doesn't want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. But at this point, I've already found out enough shit that I didn't want to know.
Yeah.
So let's just pile it on.
as well.
I'm ready to find out shit that I do want to know. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeking.
I'd like a secret family. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Or just 23andMe, period. Like just me. No one else. Just tell. I want to know what foods agree with my intestinal tract the best. I want to know what foods to avoid. They do stuff like that. That's what I need to know.
When we got Georgia DNA tested, there was a way to like opt out of like the family tree feature, like make it so like her family members couldn't see her and she couldn't see them. I
God.
wonder if that's a thing with human 23andMe. Like if you don't want to know about your secret family, like you just get
Hell no. The
DNA
FBI
test.
has blocked that. They're like, we have found so many murderers this way. Why are we going to stop it now?
Oh, well, that's fine. But like, like if you don't want to know that like your dad was sleeping around or whatever, and
Right.
you have half siblings you didn't know about.
Just a bunch of the random siblings pop up, but not your dad.
Yeah. They're miracle births.
Right. They're virgins.
Yeah.
Can I just say
in the
one
tomb.
thing on this? Someone posted in one of the podcast groups I'm in on Facebook today and said she found out her co-host and her are cousins because of 23andMe.
What?
And they're in a
Wow.
podcast. They are across the country from one another.
Whoa.
Ew, are we related?
Ew, we might be. Everyone says we look alike.
I know they do.
That'd be
I mean,
kinda cool.
I see it, but I just feel like we're pretty basic.
Yeah,
I think that's just
true.
what it is.
that's true.
Well, we'll have to find out. They're always doing 50% off sales, so we'll just have to wait for the time
Yeah,
is right.
let's do it. And if anyone has a promo code, send it our way.
Yeah, I'll buy yours if you buy mine.
Okay.
Sweet.
Christmas present.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Back to my notes. Okay. So, like I said before, they mummified the bodies. The dry atmosphere underground was a really good environment for natural mummification. So, the priest would lay the bodies down on like a table or something, possibly at an angle, and just let them drip out all their bodily fluids for like a year. And then after that, they would rinse them with vinegar, and some of them would get redressed in nice clothes and they would be propped up in their room forever. Friars got their normal clothes though. Sometimes people were buried in the ropes that you wore during penance. I would be pissed if somebody put me in the clothes that I was supposed to wear while I was repenting.
But don't you like repent before God before like so you can go to heaven? Like maybe that's the point.
I feel like that's a bad sign. That tells you what
Yeah.
people think about you if they're like,
You know who
you're going to need these robes in the afterlife.
You know who didn't get buried in those robes?
Who?
The virgins.
The virgins. Right. And maybe some of them should have.
Yeah.
Who knows?
They probably weren't virgins. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
That's the episode of Where Are They Now I want to see. I want to know all the answers of life. You bitches better preserve me in the nicest Juicy Couture jumpsuit
Oh my
that
God.
eBay has to offer.
We need to get those.
We do. We should do. You remember that song "Stupid Girls" by Pink?
No.
It's like stupid girls, and she just makes fun of people who think she thinks are stupid. And in one of the scenes,
rude.
It is rude. The music video is kind of funny though. She's wearing a Juicy Couture jumpsuit and her hair is like really ratty and like long blonde and dry, and she has the worst, deepest fake tan, and it's just like that's
offensive. And I knew I didn't like pink for a reason. Now I have a good reason.
Everyone you think Pink would be annoyed by is in that video. Like, she made fun of Jessica Simpson and Eminem in that video where she was like dancing on the hood of his car, and
this is very rude.
Eye-opening for you?
No, not eye-opening at all. I never liked Pink. Like, I just didn't like her music. I never didn't like her personally, but now I have a good reason.
Well, there you go. You're welcome. But yeah, I'm all about the Juicy Couture jumpsuit in life and in death, so we got to get on that. Some families would come to change the clothes of the dead on a regular basis, and these catacombs were maintained through donations from families of the deceased. But if your family stops paying, then your ass is getting taken down.
Your ass is grass.
Your ass is grass.
Literally, because you just get turned into grass in the ground.
We always knew you weren't a virgin. They just put you on a shelf aside, and then they'll put your body back up once you start paying again. It's like you're paying rent in the afterlife.
So why even pay rent if you're still going to be down there on a different shelf?
Well, it's not open for people to visit. So one of the reason people who could afford to keep their family members there and preserved was to visit with them, to pray with them, and just be with them. But there's secret shelves, I suppose, where you would go if you stopped paying.
I suppose.
They just create a show back in like the 1600s. It's like when you buy the, what are they called? The storage units when you
storage
haven't been paying for,
but it's people's
corpse casualties.
I'm not proud to say it, but I would definitely buy a corpse.
Yeah, I think you need one.
Yeah.
At the very least, you need some bones, but a corpse would be better.
It would be better. I was shopping for your birthday gift a couple days ago, and I was looking into like full-size human like fake skeletons, and I was looking at them and I was like, no, Kat, this is what you want. Like, you don't need to buy this for Hayley. I know you would like it, but there are other things.
Well, that gives me an idea of what to give you. I've had something in the works for some time now, but your birthday and Christmas are so close together. True. We got to plan for both.
Combine it.
Yeah. No, we can't combine it. I feel like
we can.
Would that ease your
That might ease my birthday anxiety to celebrate my birthday on Jesus's birthday.
Yes.
It'd be very fitting.
And it's not Jesus's birthday anyway that we know.
Right. It may as well be mine.
It may as well. All right. Claudia Severa, happy birthday.
Thank you.
December 25th.
Thanks. Day of our Lord, Claudia Severa.
Day of our, what are you? A witch?
Oh, in my
Dungeons and
Dragons. No, I'm a wizard because you have to choose like a class, and witch was not an option, but wizard is basically the same thing.
Okay,
so that's what I am.
Also, I just said Dungeons and Dungeons. That's not right. All right, the catacombs house 8,000 corpses right now today, and about 1,200 of them are mummies as of 2011. They line the walls. Many of them are propped up into poses, whether they're just singular poses or they're propped up to be like, look like they're interacting with each other, like children sitting and playing a game or talking with each other.
What? Why?
That's don't
creepy
know.
As fuck. And that's not like, to my knowledge, like, is this a Buddhist
it's in
monks?
Italy. There are monks and friars.
Like, I don't even know. Is it Catholic?
That's a really good question, and I don't know.
Okay.
I would assume some branch of Christianity.
Yeah. If it's Italy, probably Catholic.
Yeah.
It's definitely Catholic.
So. Yeah.
Because friars are Catholic. But that's not like a Catholic thing to set up little scenes of dead people.
Yeah. There are not many
really
of
fucking
them.
Weird.
There are many of them. Some of them are just lined up. Some of them are on like in little like casket looking things, but they're not actually caskets. It's just a whole array of these mummified corpses.
Wow.
down there.
Does it smell?
It's a huge attraction. I would think not. When they preserve the body, get rid of all the bacteria and everything. I mean, maybe of like formaldehyde.
Ew.
Yeah, ew is right. So one of the final entries into these catacombs is also the most famous entry of them all. It's a 2-year-old named Rosalia Lombardo, and she was put in there in 1920. She died of pneumonia, and her father was heartbroken. So he goes to this embalmer named Alfredo Salafia and asks him to preserve her body forever. And to this day, it looks like she's just taking a nap because she has been preserved so perfectly. Many resources say that she's probably the most well-preserved mummy ever.
Wow.
And it's just so perfect. Her blonde hair lays around her head and her face. Some of it's tied up into a bow, and her cheeks are still puffy. She looks like she's alive. We have some pictures if you want to show them, Alec. We'll just stay on the first slide.
Aww. That's really sad. She looks like a little doll.
She really does.
Yeah.
Yeah, her face isn't sunken in at all.
No, she looks like a porcelain doll.
That one is for later.
Okay.
So her cheeks are still intact. Her internal organs are still in her body. It appears that she's in a party dress, but this shroud that she's in has not been taken off of her since she was laid to rest. And it was a complete mystery as to how she was preserved so well, because when Alfredo died in 1933, he died with a secret as to how he preserved her. And eventually in the 2000s, I think, I didn't put the date in. Eventually it was discovered, this mystery was lifted because this Italian biological anthropologist, Dario Piombino Mascali, maybe.
Nailed it.
He tracked down the living relatives of that embalmer, and he was like, do you have anything left of any of his records, anything like that? And they were like, well, I mean, here's his possessions. You can look through it. And they found notes that he had from this embalming that he did. And so it shed light on this secret formula that he had come up with. He injected her through her femoral artery with just one injection of a mix of glycerin to ensure that her body didn't lose moisture, and formalin to kill the bacteria, zinc salts that petrified her body and prevented her cheeks and navel cavities from coming in, as well as alcohol and silicic acid. So it's truly amazing the way that she's been preserved, but there's a whole other level as to why she's so famous and so many tourists come to see her. Many people have claimed that they've seen her blink her eyes.
Ew, of course. And no, they fucking haven't.
Her eyes are not fully closed. Sometimes you can see her blue irises peeking through under her eyelashes.
Ooh.
There was a series of photographs taken. It's a time lapse of pictures taken 2 hours apart that seem to show Rosalia opening and closing her eyes. Alec, you can play the video.
Oh, gross. So it says these photos were taken 2 hours apart. Oh, yeah. It does look like she's opening and closing her eyes. There's like one where they're closed and then slightly more open and then slightly more open. Weird.
I know, right? And it's not an isolated event. It's not like somebody was like, she just blinked. Like, a lot of people say that they've seen this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to debunk it, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's not, at least in my opinion, it's a farce. It's not real.
For sure. I would hope that in most people's opinion, that does not happen.
Right. It looks like it, though. So if you were super gullible and you wanted to believe that she's blinking her eyes, that's what you would see. And it was debunked in 2009 by the same anthropologist, Dario. He says that it's an optical illusion that's produced by the light that filters through the side windows, which during the day is subject to change. So when she was preserved, her eyes were just ever so slightly open. They are not completely closed. And as the day goes by, different shadows are cast on her. And he realized that was probably the case after watching some museum workers move the case that she's in. And it actually caused her eyelids to shift a little bit, and he could see more of her eyes than ever before. They also think it could be due to temperature fluctuation, but there are plenty of people who believe that her eyes open when her spirit returns to her body.
Why is the spirit going in and out?
She's visiting. Probably with her, with the other corpse. I mean, I wouldn't want to just hang out in my body. I'd want to go.
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't go back to my body.
You don't want to go back?
No.
I would love to go back, especially if I was as famous as her. Go see all my fans.
Yeah, I guess it would be nice to see.
Give them a
fans.
Show.
Yeah, she's like in her coffin doing a live show.
Yeah, and it's just her eyes blinking.
Yeah. It's like ASMR, like her eyes, just like the sound that your eyes make when they blink.
Oh my gosh, she gets somebody to open like a YouTube channel for her. She drops like an idea in their brain. I don't know how spirit worlds work, but
me either.
I'm like, maybe that's it.
Maybe they're YouTubers.
Who knows? Her YouTube name could be Sleeping Beauty. That's her nickname, since it looks like she could wake up from her nap at any time. And she could be propped up like some of the other corpses are, or mummies are, considering how rigid the chemicals have made her body. But most recently, she's been kept in a glass case that has a special film now that block out the haters. And by haters, I mean light that damages her body, and it also ended the optical illusions.
Okay. Will she ever decompose?
That's a good question. It's been over 100 years now, and she hasn't thus far. But
wow,
I'm sure if she was exposed to elements, probably eventually.
Okay. Because when they embalm people for funerals, like I thought that only lasted like a week, and then they started to decompose. Is that wrong?
Well, this is not the same thing that they embalm people with in modern times.
So why don't they embalm people? Because like, isn't the whole point like to not decompose? Like, why don't they embalm them like that?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's probably expensive.
Yeah.
And if they're going to be buried anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, honestly, you could probably just tell the family members that they'll never decompose. Right? And hopefully they never find out. Oh, that creeps me out. I'm totally joking about being preserved. I want to be burned. Please.
Oh my God, burn me. Seems way like nicer of a process than decomposing.
Yeah. Put that shit on broil.
Yeah.
Throw me in.
Bye. Yeah.
Make me into a gemstone, whatever. I don't care what you do with the ashes, but do not keep my body around. Eat them.
I want you to eat them.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Put it on a peanut butter and honey sandwich.
Yeah.
Call it a day.
Like the episode of My Strange Addiction where she's addicted to eating her husband's ashes.
Oh.
Alec, if you don't love me that much, we should just break up now.
All right. Goodbye.
That was easy. It's not exactly what I expected the end of your relationship to be like, but I'm glad it was on air. Same to you, Tommy. I know you're listening. Okay, so she's been preserved wonderfully, but another theory about Rosalia came about in the 2000s, and it gained a lot of traction because it was aired on the History Channel, which is obviously the most credible and informative source that you could have. Basically,
we should just call ourselves like the History Channel or the Science Channel.
Yeah,
like,
it should be the two E's.
Yeah.
The History Channel.
The History Channel. Where everybody's credible.
So people were like, there's no way that's a real mummy. They definitely replaced her with a doll because everyone says that she looks like a doll. So that's went on.
Kind of what I thought. Like she could be made of wax. Has anyone ever like proven that she's real?
Yeah, it got enough traction that they brought in a team. National Geographic came in and x-rayed her little body. It's not fake. You can still see all of her organs in there. That's how we know her organs are still intact.
This feels like the episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians where Kim Kardashian gets an MRI to prove that her butt is real when obviously it's fucking fake, but it like quote unquote proved it's real. Yeah.
How many ways can you fake a proving that it's real?
Right.
So many ways. So many ways. I mean, who knows? That would be great if it was a doll and it blinked and they're like, that's been disproven. You just make people go crazy.
Yeah, the blinking thing is real.
Yeah,
because she's a doll.
Fake. Interesting. Her brain has shrunk 50%, but not all the way.
Burn.
Dumb 2-year-old. What are you, 1-year-old brain level now? That's what you get for soaking in formaldehyde and acid and salt for 100 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to, whatever she's doing, her skin looks great.
Oh yeah, inject me with fucking formaldehyde right now.
Right fucking now. All right, I'm going to end this on her sister. Rosalia has a sister. She was born 5 years after Rosalia died. So she was born in 1925. Her sister's name is also Rosalia Lombardo.
Her parents needed therapy.
Big time.
Yeah.
Your first red flag is that you've preserved your 2-year-old so you could go and visit her and see her all the time, which I'm not going to tell you how to grieve.
Right. But maybe don't name your next kid the same name.
Yeah, that's just trauma for everyone. So their parents would take young Rosalia, her younger sister, to visit her in the catacombs often.
They're like, look, this is you.
Yeah, this is you. We're going to dye your hair. You're a brunette and she's blonde. I hope you're not allergic to hair dye, little 3-month-old.
Little Rosalia number 2.
It's said that one source said that she goes to visit her every day, driving from Rome to Palermo, which is unthinkable. It's several hours away. I mean, maybe if you're obsessed, which I guess your parents imposing.
Yeah, they probably
that
forced
trauma.
her to be.
But I think it's more like that she visits her sister in the catacombs every other weekend, which is still kind of a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot for a sister she never knew.
Yeah. I mean, she is her. She's like, it's like looking into the past. A picture before pictures were accessible. I know pictures were invented before 1920s. Yes, I know that.
Wait, so she was visiting her every other weekend in 1920?
Well, Rosalia, the first one, the mummy, that's when she died. Young Rosalia was born in 1925. I don't know if her sister has died yet, but as of 2011, we know that she's alive. We don't know much more about her, but there's an unverified letter from younger Rosalia that essentially accuses National Geographic as fucking with her sister's body.
I mean, yeah, they did.
Yeah. Do you want to hear any part of the letter?
Sure.
Do you want a synopsis?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Quote, every day I see on TV so many broadcasts speaking of my sister, publicized with that fake news, using pictures of my parents and my daughter, Rosanna Laferla, without my permission. Unfortunately, I noticed that my little sister, in good condition in 2007, looks different now, with a strange color on her skin and hair and the eyes nearly opened. Do you want to know who made this? And again, this is translated from Italian, so.
You did this.
I know it. But when I moved to prove this with the help of my lawyer, I was ignored and threatened and invited to be silent. So National Geographic is the one who is granted access to Rosalia's body to photograph her and help reseal her coffin after air had been coming in and affecting her preservation.
So who gave them the okay to do that? Because it sounds like the family didn't.
Well, Rosalia, the mummy, is property of Italy.
Why?
I don't know.
Weird.
It it's insane how many sources I looked through to get any little like fun facts, extra details, and it was so hard to find.
I bet. Maybe, do you think they, like the family stopped paying the morgue at some point and that's why?
I think that could be why. I think that maybe there was not a will made, and when her parents passed away, it was like, okay, well, you know, these catacombs are a museum now, and maybe that's part of it too. I don't think the families surely don't pay to keep their families in there anymore. It's a tourist attraction. It's a place people go for plenty of different reasons.
Yeah.
So it's not confirmed or denied that this letter is true and real, but there is an official looking document from 2012 that seems to be an official complaint that Rosalia filed against National Geographic. But like we said, young or older Rosalia is property of Italy, not owned by her sister. So nothing really came of that complaint.
Man, that's sad.
I know. It really is. And also, I wonder, she's definitely upset because her sister had probably started to decompose a bit more. And like you said, I'm sure she would eventually, especially when out in the air. She's covered by glass right now in a case, and there had been cracks in it and things like that. So she's probably seeing her sister's body change and look different than it did when she was growing up. And I think that's just a natural thing that happens.
And it's like even if it weren't changing or like the change was natural, like she's totally within her right to be mad that National Geographic is x-raying her sister's body without her permission. Like,
yeah,
that's fucked
You're
up.
Right. You're right. You're totally right. All we know for sure is that Rosalia had a sister, and older Rosalia loved younger Rosalia very, very much. And that if I'm not going to be cremated, I better be preserved whatever the heck went into Rosalia Lombardo. So you all should check out these pictures. We'll post them on Instagram, and these time-lapse pictures, it definitely looks like her eyes are opening. But I'd like to thank whoever tagged Night Classy on TikTok, because there was somebody like talking about this and they were like, Night Classy idea? And I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. So my sources are Atlas Obscura, theculturetrip.com, slate.com, amusingplanet.com, allthat'sinteresting.com, the Reaper Fires, the Reaper Files, and Wikipedia.
Thank you. That was so interesting. Before this, she was like, you've definitely heard of my topic. I've never heard of that. So that was really fun.
Wow. I need to say that every time now because I changed fate. We're in a different alternative universe right now, because every time I'm like, there's no way. This is so cool. She hasn't heard of it before. You're like, oh, yeah. And you like know more than me. I'm like, okay, well, hopefully people listening haven't.
Right. That is always how it happens. And like anytime... It goes both ways, for sure.
It does.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Let's take a quick break and we will come right back.
Hey guys, I know that you're excited and we're so excited for our Patreon open hours, office hours, little party thing we're having this Friday, but there's a lot more that comes with being a Patreon member. We release something every single month, whether it is just Alec, just kidding. It's never just Alec, but we seek people out who we think would be interesting people to learn from, because we get tired sometimes. Just kidding.
And we know you're tired of hearing our voices.
And we want to make sure that you keep learning. So there's things like extra lessons on our Patreon. We release fun little videos, like when we made our own wine. Oh,
we need to do that again sometime.
No.
And we're in the works of releasing our Crescent Hotel video. That is coming. We swear to God. I know it's been like almost a year, but that is coming. We just want to make it perfect for you guys. And we're really trying to build us a little community on Patreon. We want to interact with you guys there and just kind of have our friends. I message our Patreons, we chat. It's really fun. We send out annual gifts, and I already have an idea for this year's annual gift. I'll have to tell you about it.
I was looking at the pen that we sent out for our first year, which will always hold such a special place in my heart, but my heart has lots of room. It can still get in there.
So definitely come check out our Patreon, join our little little community of classmates, and check us out. We'll be there to hang out with you, and it really does help the show. The money goes toward things like hiring an editor, so Alec doesn't have to spend all his time editing us, buying necessary equipment for the pod, and so much more. Please check it out. Please support us. You can go to patreon.com/nightclassy or click our link tree. It's linked in the show notes and on all our social media.
We appreciate you and love you so much. Don't stop learning, and we'll see you at the next lesson.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, look who just came crawling back. You did, because you're listening.
I thought you were talking to me.
No, I'm also kind of talking to you. I didn't know how to start. I got scared.
You're just jealous I've been in Georgia.
Well, I am a little jealous. I didn't go anywhere this weekend, but it's fine. Well, yeah, so I have a lesson for you. Stop.
The way, okay, Kat has a top knot on her head right now, and I can only really see the left side of your face, and you look like Lord Farquaad because the hair from your ponytail is coming down. It's just hitting at your chin. And
I had to adjust it because I have a half pony up and it's sitting on top of my head, and the scrunchie is sitting where the headphones were, so I had to pull it up toward my forehead. And I guess I look a little crazy. It's fine. You guys will see it in the video, I'm sure.
I like it. It's good.
It
works for you.
I also dyed my hair dark this weekend, and I am pale right now, so I probably do look like Lord Farquaad.
I was wondering if your hair got darker.
Yeah, it did. I dyed it. It's almost black.
Looks good.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to balayage my hair.
Ooh, with bleach?
I'm not doing it. I'm going to get it done.
I thought you were going to do
Hell
it.
no.
Wow, that's brave.
Learned my lesson. It's a lesson I learn every 4 to 5 years. Don't dye your own hair. Drastically, anyway.
I was considering, because I went to Sally's, and while I was at Sally's, I was looking at all the Manic Panic and the fun colors, and I was like, what if I just bleached the underneath part of my hair and dyed it green, and then had my black hair over it? I was like, that would be so fun and
That's
cute.
a vibe.
But I'm a little bit scared to bleach my own hair.
Watch some Brad Mondo videos. I'll help you.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like your vibe is darker hair. I think my hair is lighter. I need to go back to my safe space.
Yeah, you should balayage it. And then I kind of miss having balayaged hair because you can put semi-permanent color hair dye on it whenever you feel like it, and you can just have purple hair 1 week and then have regular hair. Okay. Alex telling us to move the fuck on. So I'm going to stop procrastinating and start. So today, squirrels.
That's all you need to know.
Yep.
Today, squirrels
they're everywhere in the United States.
What's up with squirrels anyway?
We're going to find out. So they're everywhere. And they're in the city, they're in the country, they're just a normal part of life. They're no big deal. This was not always the case. What? In the mid 1800s, industrialization of the city meant that many squirrels lost their habitat. Cities back then didn't really have trees, parks, and green spaces the way most cities do now, meaning squirrels had absolutely no habitat in the city, so they weren't there. There were not squirrels in cities.
But they overcame. They pulled themselves up by their bootstraps
with a little bit of help.
Like a good American should.
Yeah.
That's satire.
They're just the embodiment of the red-blooded American.
Congratulations, you're a patriot. That's why they make the hats out of raccoons, not squirrels.
Well, actually, squirrels were the opposite of patriotic, and we'll find that out.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm. But back then, if you saw a squirrel in the city, it was almost certainly someone's pet that had escaped.
Wonder what that's like.
What? Having a squirrel as a pet?
What? As if you're innocent and this whole lesson wasn't inspired by current events. I've had these notes prepared for weeks.
Yeah. What are you talking about? This is just a weird coincidence.
I manifested it.
That'd be awful. So this was the case in 1856 when a pet squirrel in New York City escaped someone's home. It drew a crowd of hundreds of spectators, and the newspaper wrote about it, calling it, quote, an unusual visitor. So people had never seen a squirrel. If you were from the city, you had never seen a squirrel. But, by the mid 19th century, parks were starting to pop up in cities and attention was being paid to their development and beautification. They were trying to encourage people to come to the parks because a lot of people in the city, that was your only exposure to nature. And people were kind of hesitant. If you grew up in the city, you're like, why do I need to go to a park? So there were a lot of PR campaigns trying to get people to use these parks. And in an effort to draw people in and spark interest, the Squirrel Experiment began in 1947. 3 eastern gray squirrels were introduced into Philadelphia's Franklin Square. And like I said, at the time, city people had not seen a squirrel. They were forest creatures. It would be like if you put a deer in Central Park, but not because people in New York have seen a deer. It was just it did not belong there. People were obsessed. They fucking loved it. One visitor said, quote, it is a wonder that squirrels are not in the public parks in all of our great cities.
And there were only 3 of them.
3 of them. And the city took care of them. They provided them with squirrel boxes for their homes. They fed them out of feeders. They were the city's pet squirrels. Other cities started to look at this success in Philadelphia. People were going to the parks just to see the squirrel, and they followed suit.
Can you imagine what life would be like if our government treated human beings like squirrels?
Oh my God. Well, there's 2 sides of the coin, and we'll get into it. So in the 1950s, Boston and New Haven started introducing squirrels. Later, New York, Boston, Washington, D.C., Chicago, and others were expanding their parks, welcoming squirrels. Some cities were even planting nut trees to provide squirrels with a natural food source. And by the 1880s, the squirrel population in Central Park was 1,500.
Damn.
It's a lot of squirrels. Yes. There were.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you see a squirrel in the country or the town that I grew up in, and you shoot it.
That's
and your boyfriend's
dinner,
mom
baby.
Fries it up.
That's disgusting.
And your uncultured high school ass eats it.
I can't.
Mistakes were made. Okay, I'm all about trying new foods, but
high school Hayley was different than current Hayley.
Unfortunate, but true.
There needs to be a podcast called Uncultured High School Ass.
Yeah, there'd be so many
stories.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sure we'll get into more of them eventually. Anyway, squirrels' purpose in these parks was not just beautification. Having squirrels in urban areas was considered a way to teach people in the city how to treat animals humanely. Ernest,
because city folks, there's something wrong with them. They don't need nature. We got to introduce nature slowly.
Truly,
3 squirrels at a time.
It was teaching them empathy toward wild creatures, teaching them that wild creatures were
feelings.
sentient. Yeah, because it's you have a dog, you're gonna treat the dog nice, but if you're not exposed to wildlife, you don't understand that it should be respected.
Yeah,
I guess,
you just instantly go back to being a caveman and being
yeah, it's
defense.
It's basically a leaf. You don't. I don't know. I wasn't there, but this was the whole idea.
Okay.
Ernest Thompson Seton, the co-founder of the Boy Scouts, wrote that encouraging children to feed the squirrels helps them be kind to wild animals and, quote, cure them of their tendency toward cruelty.
Or
Okay.
maybe there's something with the way children are being raised.
Right. Yeah. Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Yes. So this was an idea. Feeding pigeons and ducks was already a common hobby. So people were already feeding the wildlife, but the whole thing was that humans maybe connect easier with mammals. So squirrels are better teachers of morality.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
We're not getting enough credit. I wasn't even there. And I'm what? You raised expectations, and the expectations were so low. You said this was in the 80s?
The 1880s.
The 1880s. So yes, we're both right.
Yes, I guess so. Our parents' generation was like learning how to respect animals by feeding squirrels.
Jesus, all these boomers. This makes so much sense.
They are the way they are.
No, it was just 2 generations ago. These are the kids who are being trained who gave birth to our grandparents, who gave birth to our parents, who, okay, it all.
The 80s. Madonna was out there feeding squirrels in Central Park as a PR stunt.
Right. There was, dang it, I can't remember what. The concert for AIDS.
Live Aid.
Live Aid and Live Squirrel.
There's just like Alvin and the Chipmunks perform.
That's when they came about. Was in the 80s, right? This is all making sense. There are levels, okay? Squirrel, chipmunk. I don't know what the next step.
Virgin.
Dog, human, virgin. Yeah, virgins are at the top.
We have not achieved past squirrel. I mean, clearly, with everything going on in Texas, we have not leveled up.
Squirrels are higher than women in the totem pole at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, are women on the totem pole?
They're the grass on the ground underneath.
God damn it.
So while people in the city were marveling at the beauty of the squirrel, feeding them from their hands, farmers in the countryside had a very different relationship with squirrels.
Don't I know it?
Hayley knows it firsthand. So in 1886, a great emigration of squirrels occurred. Deforestation had led to mass stampedes of thousands of squirrels who passed from east to west and west to east in search of food sources.
Would you rather fight 1,000 squirrels or 1,000-pound squirrel?
1,000 squirrels. Like, I have to fight them?
Yeah. You get one weapon. And you have to use it for either one. You get to pick one and then choose.
Okay, if I have a weapon, I think 1,000-pound squirrel.
Yeah, I do machete. Just get a good artery. That would be my approach.
You thought this through. I choose poison.
Poison?
Yeah. You just like leave some food out. Easy. Yeah. That's how you kill squirrels.
What if he's vicious? What if he wants to fight?
Okay.
I'm not talking about the 80s squirrels. I'm talking about the 1830s squirrels. Okay, different breeds.
Okay, different kind.
Before they were all cushy.
I guess a gun.
And it's like the size of a bear, so you can't just poison a bear if it's running at you.
Oh, that's true.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I still think a gun.
Wow, canceled.
I don't know how to shoot one though, so maybe the machete is a better bet.
I didn't think a gun was an option, honestly. It didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, I'm just gonna not
I think I just
fight
want
1,000-pound squirrel.
A machete. Yeah.
Maybe you do.
That's fair.
Maybe that's what I'm getting you for your birthday.
I already have one, so.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'll get you a case for the one you have.
I already have that. I'm the knife girl, remember?
Do you actually have a machete?
Yeah.
Where?
It's like over a foot long.
Where
it's
is
in my room.
What?
Do you want to? I'll show it to you.
Why do you have a machete?
Well, I was the top manager during the last half of the year.
I see.
And it was a very expensive piece of cutlery that I won.
It's an actual machete. Like you could use it to like cut vines.
Yeah, the K-bar, Cutco makes K-bar, and K-bar is what the U.S. military uses.
What the hell? Okay.
Yeah.
And they gave one to you?
Yeah.
You should sell it.
It's like that long. No,
wow.
I'm going to keep it. I feel like the world is
squirrels.
coming to an end to fight 1,000-pound squirrels.
You never know. You might need it. So these squirrels moved in packs and nothing could stand in their way. They would get to a river, they jumped in, swam across the river. No one could stop them. This great squirrel emigration was once thought to be American folklore, but there's all these eyewitness accounts from prominent citizens back then, like lawyers, early settlers, and it's pretty backed up, and it's now considered a fact that this happened.
Can you imagine just seeing thousands of squirrels
stampeding? No, it's a terrifying thought. So Squirrels were leaving their habitats because they were starving. So as they moved through the countryside, they devoured and completely decimated crops. Like it was akin to like a swarm of locusts. It was said that 12 squirrels could destroy as much corn as one hog. And like pigs can fucking eat. They destroyed many people's entire crop yields that year. So people were trying to defend their corn. There was one guy who killed as many as 280 squirrels in 3 days.
I'm just seeing this all in my mind. This farmer in his overalls just demolishing these squirrels who are hungry.
Just shooting them down.
Fighting for their lives.
And I read all these like firsthand accounts and people were like, they were starving. So like you couldn't scare them away. Like they just kept going no matter how many you shot. They just kept coming back.
Turns out, like, we think we're living in crazy times. Turns out all the times are crazy.
Yeah, it's always been
crazy all of the time.
Definitely. And, like, that's not to say, like, you shouldn't do something about the crazy shit. Like, definitely, like, do things about it.
I look forward to living in a less crazy world one day.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
If not, I have my machete.
And much like Hayley, people ate squirrels back then, but like they were upset because these squirrels were so starved that like even though you were killing a bunch of them, you couldn't really eat them because there was no meat on them. They were starving.
Oh yeah.
So
it takes so much work just to get to the meat.
Oh yeah.
That they do have.
It's just like not even worth it. So these bodies of squirrels were just left out and piling up, and so like swarms of buzzards were coming in. Like it was just like nasty. It was a total massacre. Everyone was killing squirrels. And this 1886 emigration was not the first time that something like this happened. Central Indiana experienced 2 other great squirrel emigrations in 1822 and 1845. And between this and 1842, a major swarm went through Iowa to Wisconsin. Descriptions of this emigration say it was 130 miles wide and 150 miles long. An eyewitness account said he could see 1,400 squirrels just from where he stood. So imagine like squirrels covering like every square foot for like over 100 square miles.
I would think that somebody had drugged me.
Yeah.
I would think that I was hallucinating and that was the explanation.
Yeah. Terrifying. Modern scientists estimate that there were 500 million squirrels in this particular emigration.
Ew.
Yeah, ew. These emigrations had probably gone on for hundreds of years, even before European settlers. Like anytime there's food scarcity, this is kind of known to happen. And I don't think it happens anymore because now like squirrels are like, they'll eat like food that people put out or like whatever.
People,
like
they'll live with people.
Like, but like basically the explanation.
Drink Pedialyte, whipped cream. They've developed a palate for.
They have.
They're into it.
People feed them. Yeah.
They get heating pads.
They do.
Secondhand, of course.
Yeah. So like this doesn't, I don't think, happen anymore. Most of the explanations I saw was just like, yeah, like we've changed the landscape so much that they don't do this, but they did it a lot. And even when squirrels weren't stampeding, they were still considered like major pests by farmers for their tendency to eat crops. This was still the case in 1918. Americans were in Europe fighting World War I, but back home, civilians faced their own enemy.
They were fighting the squirrels.
They were. The California ground squirrel. California ground squirrels ate an estimated $30 million in crops in the state each year, which would be over $500 million today.
Oh my gosh.
So like it was a huge problem. They were also seen to carry and spread diseases like the bubonic plague, and their burrows caused irrigation problems.
Okay. For some reason, I thought the bubonic plague was done.
No, there's still cases of the plague today.
Yeah.
But people just don't die from it really anymore, usually.
Yeah. That makes sense. But in the forefront of my mind, I was like, what?
Whoa.
I'm so used to being like, well, we have vaccines, so we don't have to deal with that anymore.
Right. You would have thought. Yeah. So this is like out of control. Something had to be done. So in March of 1918, the state's horticultural commissioners had a meeting over lunch, a little working lunch, if you will. At this lunch, they ate grain-fed gopher, and announced their anti-rodent campaign.
Fitting. That's fitting.
It is.
I don't know what else you would eat at your anti-rodent ceremony.
Definitely. Anyway, at this lunch, blah, 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 anti-rodent campaign. So they decided to divert $40,000, which is $700,000 in today's money, of their emergency wartime funds to a propaganda campaign against squirrels. Yes.
There's no need. Propaganda.
It was a propaganda campaign. So 34,000 posters and 500,000 leaflets were printed announcing Squirrel Week.
There should be a political like a cartoon that shows two squirrels looking at propaganda against them being
There is one. Do you want to see it right now?
Yeah, I do.
I'll pull up the pictures. So scroll down. Don't look at these. Scroll. Oh, that's the end. Okay, go back up. There they are, looking at the billboard announcing Squirrel Week.
Nice.
Yep.
Squirrel Week, like Shark Week, but different.
Yeah. So in this picture, there's literally a cartoon of squirrels looking at a billboard that says Proclamation Squirrel Week.
The huge words at the top are, "It is here," as if you've been expecting Squirrel Week.
There's a lot of anticipation for Squirrel Week. And what is Squirrel Week, you might be asking?
Yes.
It was an attempt to eradicate the California ground squirrels, where for 7 days, school children were encouraged to kill as many squirrels as they could.
Oh my God, that's so stupid. Just hold a gender reveal party. That'll take care of it within a week.
Right.
Same thing, just less. Keep the kids in school.
Yeah, they didn't have those back then. But what
Weird.
they did have were rewards offered to elementary and high schools who killed the most squirrels.
We had walkathons. They had homicidal tendencies.
Yeah, it's like when you sold wrapping paper in elementary school, but instead you're clubbing squirrels.
Snip, snap, snip, snap. What is it? Are we trying to teach empathy or are we trying to kill them?
Kids in the city are being taught to like feed squirrels out of their hand and be kind to nature. And kids in rural California, they're like, here's a club and some poison. Go kill as many squirrels as you can.
There's no wonder there's such a discrepancy. You see a voting map of a state and it's almost all red. And
yeah, that's where they club squirrels.
Oh my gosh.
$50, which was $900 today, went to the first place school, and then there was $30 and $20 to the runner-ups. Children and adults were sold on this idea via mass propaganda. So pamphlets read things like "Death to the Squirrel," "The Spring Drive is on," and I think that's the first one. There it is. And a lot of the pictures focused on killing mother squirrels. So on one of these, it says "A squirrel in time saves killing 9." So you wanted to, like, this was held in the spring to kill all the pregnant squirrels. And
okay, but we're going to outlaw abortion?
Right. When it's squirrels, it doesn't count. And other more creative posters featured anthropomorphized squirrels. So let's look at the last one. And for right now, scroll down. I only want to look at this bottom half. So on this poster, there's 2 squirrels, Mr. and Mrs. Squirrel. They're eating at a restaurant. The menu says wheats, oats, nuts, and barley. And Mr. Squirrel says, "Waiter, today I'll have my favorite dish, whole wheat cakes." And then Mrs. Squirrel says, "And you may serve some nice barley sprouts." And then behind the waiter, there's a sign that says Hotel California Board bill for the squirrels in 1917, $30 million. So basically, like, they're not paying their bill. Like, they're just eating a bunch of food, and then the California is footing the bill.
Gosh, the government's like, this is supposed to be a symbiotic relationship. You teach our kids empathy, and what?
Right.
For what?
For what? For the squirrels to eat all the crops.
You're being so rude right now, squirrels.
So rude.
Literally, squirrel, you're being so rude.
Literally so rude. On the same poster, so if we scroll up a little bit to the top, there's a different scene, and it's titled "Kill the Squirrels." There's a woman holding a bucket labeled "Poison Barley," and she's surrounded by children. They're all smiling, having a good time, and in her speech bubble, it says, "Children, we must kill the squirrels to save food, but use the poisons carefully." So
oh my God.
squirrel killing, especially with poison, was billed as this like fun, wholesome, patriotic activity for children.
Families, even.
Yeah. Go out and kill squirrels together. It was like a family outing.
It's a family affair, for sure. What else are you going to do?
Right.
Not kill squirrels?
After church on a Sunday?
Surely not.
Yeah. Kill the squirrels.
You reap what you sow, squirrels. Let this
They
be a
brought this on
lesson.
themselves.
Let this be a lesson. Just remember that barley.
Right.
Remember the millions of dollars.
Yeah, it was expensive barley. Pamphlets included recipes for strychnine-laced barley and other methods of extermination, such as shooting, drowning, and poison gas.
Drowning?
Yeah. I think by dumping water down into squirrel burrows. Like, it's awful. But, like,
yeah.
they're not, like, holding squirrels. They're not, like,
Well,
waterboarding squirrels.
That's what I pictured.
I know.
And I was like, I mean, there are different levels of red flags at this point. It's not enough to say it's all red flags.
Right. It is all red flags, but like some were definitely worse than others. Like there was one pamphlet that contained instructions on how to attach the tailpipe of your car to a squirrel hole and kill them with CO2 poisoning.
Oh my God. Okay. All they had to do in the late 1800s while this was happening.
Early
1800s was identify those who really enjoyed
Or wait, no,
killing.
you're right. Early 1900s. I'm sorry.
All I know is we're in the
Semantics.
80s.
Yeah. We're not in the 80s. We're in 1918.
Oh, so early
World War
1800s.
One. Yeah. Early 1900s.
Oh, early 1900s.
Did I say 1819? I meant 1918.
I have no idea what's going on. All I'm saying is that we could have saved a ton of human and squirrel lives probably if we could have identified the people who really liked killing the squirrels. Be like, that is a future murderer.
They all really liked killing the squirrels.
Oh my God. Well,
Everyone did. And that's because a lot of this propaganda appealed to Americans' patriotic side and tied this killing of squirrels to the war effort.
oh my
The
gosh.
food the squirrels were eating was told to people. I mean, it was, but like also like really billed as food that could have been rations for the military. So the squirrels were directly hurting the war effort by eating these crops. To drive this point home, squirrels were depicted in cartoons as part of the German army. They stood at attention wearing Pickelhauben, which are the spiked helmets of the German military. And down here, you can see the squirrels in the little German helmets.
They sure are.
They were also depicted having curled mustaches like Kaiser Wilhelm. And children were told not to wait to be drafted. They could help the war effort now at home by killing squirrels. So it was just like a way to show off what a good American you were. During World War I, it was a thing for Minutemen to go around and basically they do these little speeches in different towns to like help get support for the war effort, like encourage people to ration or like do whatever they can to help. Added into their speeches was anti-squirrel propaganda. So they were now encouraging people to kill squirrels. They were going town to town. There were all these talking points. Squirrels were referred to as, quote, the little ally of the Kaisers.
Wow. You're making quite a statement.
This is just the biggest stretch.
You're fostering a squirrel. Harboring a fugitive.
Oh, I'm making a statement.
Yes, yes. You personally are. Well, I guess Alec kind of brought you into it. You're just an accomplice.
Alec is the real, what do they call it when you like betray your country?
Espionage? No, that's spying.
Traitor?
Traitor. Alec's the real traitor.
Benedict Arnold.
Yes. Anyway, so they had all these talking points. I have a list of them. So here we go. The best squirrel is a dead squirrel. The Hotel California bill for ground squirrels in 1917 was $30 million. It is yet unpaid. The squirrel does not recognize daylight saving. He uses it all, which I don't really understand that one. Is like daylight savings.
He's working all the time. He's got 25 hours in the day.
That must be it.
He's working while you're sleeping.
Yes, you nailed it.
Thank you. I understand. I'm one with the anti-squirrel movement. Just kidding.
It's where you belong.
I touched the squirrel for the first time today, so, we're pretty tight.
We are. He can watch Bachelor in Paradise with us tonight.
Yeah.
He likes to sit in your shirt.
Oh,
it's
I
really
love that.
cute.
Yeah. I'll get out that sweatshirt you got me with a little pocket.
God, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
And he's so small, he could sit in any such and just go in your little pocket.
So excitement.
He preys on our crops in countless hordes. He fills the ranks of the killed in true military fashion. So no matter how many you kill, they keep coming back, which seems like anti what they're trying to do. Like, they're encouraging people to kill squirrels, but now they're saying there's no point because they come back. Why hesitate? We can get them now. How? Poison them, gas them, drown them, shoot them, trap them, submarine them.
Submarine them?
What does that mean? Throw them into water? They can swim.
I have no idea. That's why I'm exclaiming.
Yeah, I don't know either, because they already said drown them. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe like shoot a missile at them underwater.
Yeah, put them in a bucket of water and shoot them.
Put them in the submarine and then bring them up real quick. They won't adjust to the pressure and they'll go kaboom.
They'll get the spins.
Yeah, they can be the new test subjects for all the makeup.
Oh, no. And then lastly, I have, are you not willing to give your wholehearted effort to support his statewide movement to kill the squirrel? So you were kind of like pressured into this and considered a bad American if you didn't kill the squirrels. So this like really, really worked. Children were instructed to bring squirrel tails to their schools to verify their kills.
Oh my gosh, the original box top.
Yes, it really, really was the original box top. Some of the kids sent their tails straight to the county commissioner's office to like get them counted faster, but this caused a quote pronounced odor in the office, and so the county commissioner requested that children not send him any more tails and ordered that all tails be buried immediately after they are counted.
Wow, what's the point? What's the point then? Right. I don't see one.
Killing all the squirrels.
Despite all of the other reasons you listed 30 seconds ago.
Right. And let's see, where am I? By the end of Squirrel Week on May 4th, children had turned in, you want to guess how many fucking squirrels they killed?
20,000.
Not even close. 104,509 tails were turned in, but way more than that were probably killed.
Oh, nasty.
Yeah. After the event, children's enthusiasm for killing squirrels did not die with the squirrels. This was now a fun activity for kids during another anti-squirrel campaign later that year. So like people saw this and were like, now we have to do this in our town. This is a great idea. One girl brought in 3,780 squirrel tails and another boy brought 3,770.
Well, we know what they would choose in the choice of fighting 1,000 squirrels or one single 1,000-pound one.
They did it. The campaigns were at the time considered a great success. Crops bounced back and there were more rations to send to the military. But like, it's fucking squirrels. Like the populations bounced back almost immediately. And like all of this was basically for nothing. And like, it's pretty much impossible. Like you can't kill all the squirrels. So it didn't work.
That is crazy. It's not creating long-term effects except for maybe on the kids.
Yeah, psychological effects maybe. Yeah. And just like it's awful. Like they killed so many poor little baby squirrels.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they're like, we're going to industrialize this city. Fuck them squirrels. Mm-hmm. And then the squirrel's like, okay, we're going to go away now. And then we're like, it's your fault you're in our space we want to have a city in again and you're eating all our crops because we killed off your natural environment and all your food supply.
Yeah, it's just like crazy. And I guess this was kind of a common thing back then to put these place rewards on killing pests to like keep populations down. And like in one case, I'm trying to remember, I didn't put this in my notes, but basically they killed like all the coyotes or like all the like some predator, and then that made like rat populations go crazy, and like it was just like a constant battle. Like just fucking leave nature alone. Like I mean some populations do need to be controlled, I get that, but like this was just like to an extreme.
A bit much.
Yeah, it was a lot much. So on a lighter note, I just want to end with some fun facts about squirrels from treehugger.com. The smallest squirrel is the African pygmy squirrel. It's 5 inches long. And the biggest squirrel is China's red and white giant flying squirrel, which is 1,000 pounds. Just kidding. It can grow to be 3 feet long.
I am too gullible. That's what I've learned from this entire lesson. I was like, oh my God, I was right. It's a good thing I have my machete.
Yeah, I'm going to pack my machete and go to China right now so I can live out my dream of fighting 1,000-pound squirrel.
Yeah, if I'm going to travel, it's going to be to fight a huge squirrel. Oh, that's a really cute squirrel, though.
Can we see the big one? Oh, it doesn't look that big.
Looks cool though.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Look at how cool that looks.
It's cute.
Ooh, it's so cute.
Crazy.
A group of squirrels is called a scurry or a dray.
Oh.
Squirrels bury their food to store it for winter and hide it from other scavengers. And some squirrels even dig fake holes to throw their animals off the trail. And they may hide food in literally 1,000 different places, but they have such good spatial memory and such good sense of smell that they recover 80% of what they hide. And they also organize their nuts by species, which helps them remember where they hid things.
That's so cute. I wonder how many trees have grown because they forgot that 20%.
Oh, a ton. Yeah, they're a really important part of the ecosystem.
The original Johnny Appleseed.
Johnny Acorn. And then my last bullet point is that squirrels will collect old rattlesnake skin and they chew it up and make like a paste in their mouth and then lick their fur with it.
They like wax themselves?
No, it like helps them smell like a rattlesnake, which hides them from predators.
Oh my God, they're
Isn't that cool?
so smart.
They're really smart.
Oh, look at you guys.
Yeah, our little baby squirrel, little baby Alvin, hiding from rattlesnakes. And that is my lesson on American squirrels.
Wow, I did not know I needed that, but I did. Thank you for that.
You're
I hope
welcome.
you all be nice to a squirrel today.
They're not part of the German military. We don't have to kill them.
Yeah, we know what you've seen. We know what you've heard. Just know that it's all propaganda.
Yeah. Don't fall for the lies. My sources are ScienceDaily.com, which posted a summary of an article called History of American Urban Squirrel by Etienne Benson of the University of Pennsylvania. Gizmodo.com, an article called The Fascinating Story of Why U.S. Parks Are Full of Squirrels by Adam Clark Estes. The Great Squirrel Stampede by Dave Highway. An Alice Obscura article called In 1918, California Drafted Children into the War on Squirrels by Dave Gilson.
Nice.
And WashingtonPost.com. That's it.
Thank you for that. This was a really fun episode. I hope you all had just as much fun as we did listening as we did creating it. That sentence makes no sense. I need to go relax.
Yeah, let's go cuddle a baby squirrel, watch Bachelor in Paradise, eat pizza, and drink more beer.
Hell yeah.
Sounds amazing. All right, well, thank you guys for listening. As always, remember to tell a friend, rate, review, and subscribe. Check out our Patreon. We want to see you there for cocktail hour tomorrow. We're so excited. And thank you for listening. 3, 2, 1. Class dismissed.